Emily sat at her desk, staring at the computer screen. The office was almost empty. Most of her colleagues had gone home for the weekend, but she was still there, trying to finish a report her boss, Jonathan, needed by Monday. The lights above her made a soft humming sound, and the air felt still. She was about to pack up and leave when she heard a familiar voice behind her. "Emily, do you have a minute?" Jonathan stood at the entrance of her cubicle. He wore his usual neat suit, but his tie was a little loose. His smile was warm and confident. Emily's heart raced. "Sure," she said, trying not to let her voice shake. Jonathan stepped closer, his presence filling the small space. "I need your help with something," he said, his eyes meeting hers. "It's important, and I think you're the only one who can handle it." Emily hesitated. Jonathan had always been charming, too charming. She had always admired him but had pushed those feelings away. "What do you need?" she asked softly. "I need you to stay late tonight," he said. "There's a project I'm working on, and I could use your expertise." Emily wanted to say no. She had planned to go home, rest, maybe watch a movie. But something in Jonathan's voice made it hard to refuse. She nodded. "Okay, I'll stay." Jonathan smiled. "Thank you, Emily. I knew I could count on you." Hours passed. The office became even quieter. Emily focused on her work, but she couldn't ignore the way her heart pounded every time Jonathan passed by her desk. She knew he had always been a little too friendly, a little too close. And now, with no one else around, it felt different. It felt dangerous. It was past midnight when Jonathan returned. He carried 2 cups of coffee. "I thought you could use this," he said, handing one to her. Their fingers brushed, and a warm feeling rushed through Emily's body. "Thanks," she whispered. Jonathan sat next to her. "You've been working hard," he said. "I appreciate it." Emily nodded, trying to ignore the heat in her cheeks. "It's no problem." The air between them felt heavy. Jonathan's eyes locked onto hers, and she suddenly forgot how to breathe. "Emily," he said softly. "There's something I need to tell you." A shiver ran down her spine. "What is it?" Jonathan hesitated. "I've always been drawn to you," he admitted. "There's something about you I can't resist." Emily's heart pounded. She wanted to say this was wrong, that they were crossing a line. But deep down, she knew she felt the same way. She had fought these feelings for so long. And now, sitting there with him so close, she couldn't deny it anymore. Jonathan reached out, gently brushing her cheek with his thumb. His touch sent a shiver through her. She felt herself leaning in, her body betraying her thoughts. And then, before she could stop herself, Jonathan's lips met hers. The kiss was soft yet firm, filling Emily with a warmth she hadn't felt in years. Her hands moved to his chest, feeling his heartbeat beneath her fingers. For a moment, everything else disappeared. The office, the rules, the risks, none of it mattered. Then, as suddenly as it had started, the kiss ended. Jonathan pulled away, his breathing heavy, his eyes filled with emotion. He looked at her, as if waiting for her to say something. Emily opened her mouth, but no words came. Her mind was a storm of emotions, desire, guilt, fear. She knew this was dangerous. They were playing with fire. But she couldn't bring herself to stop. Jonathan reached for her hand. "We don't have to do anything you don't want to," he whispered. "But I need you to know how I feel. I've been holding this in for so long." Emily's heart ached. She had spent so much time pretending these feelings didn't exist. But now, they were out in the open, and she couldn't ignore them. "Jonathan," she whispered, "this is dangerous. If anyone finds out." "They won't," he interrupted. "This stays between us." Emily wanted to believe him. She wanted to trust that they could keep this a secret. But she knew the world wasn't kind to people who crossed these lines. The consequences could be terrible. And yet, as Jonathan leaned in and kissed her again, all those fears faded. In that moment, all that mattered was how he made her feel, the way his touch erased the loneliness she had carried for so long. She knew it was a mistake. But in that moment, it felt like the only thing that mattered. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting videos.